Welcome to 𝐂𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐔. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. It's the current time of 5:06 p.m. on Eastern Time on July 14th on Thursday. Ethereum contract at $1,194, up about 7.16% so far. Respect over crypto market versus the equity market, I would say across the spectrum, there's some reverse correlation effect that's going on between crypto versus the stock market side of the house. Seems like there is some inflationary resistance pressure that's being baked into the crypto side of the house. But across the spectrum, there are kind of a mixed bag of news that has been popping up earlier today. I'll say, in terms of the, I guess, diversification of negative versus positive, I would say it's definitely indexed more towards the negative. Around obviously the rate hikes that we are going to be anticipating from the next coming FOMC meeting, which is about like a week and a half out. Also, verbiage from the major investment banks on the fact that they're reporting their earnings. Seems like collectively a lot of Wall Street banks are suffering due to a lot of bad debts they are sustaining, and also the lack thereof in terms of the mergers and acquisition transactional market. Forcing potential, layoffs, and also just corporate shrinkage going forward. And respect to some other news that I'm also seeing, seems like the Fed's governor, Waller, he's expecting a 75 basis point rate hike happening. But with respect to the recent, obviously the CPI report that we just got, obviously was a terrible one, reaching historical high all over again. That 1%, or even higher, a more aggressive move from the Feds can be possible, and they're open to it. So I just don't know how corporate companies will be able to sustain or stay alive if that was the case going forward. But with all of these negative news, right? Obviously, negative news from the Feds, negative news from all the disappointing banks' earnings. Joe Biden has spoken recently, saying that the Feds will do whatever it takes to, make sure that we keep our economy vital and try to survive at bare minimum. And at the same time, that I don't know how quantitatively driven he is, but he says that the inflationary pressure has mostly peaked already. So he foresees that things will get better from here. But in my mind, I'm just thinking like, with all of these negative news so far, for us like to get true confidence and seeing some actual buying pressure going forward in a gradual fashion, we need to see some sort of a progressive measure from the Feds, right? So the main events is still going to be happening on, with respect to the FOMC meeting. And I think if we're going to do 75 basis point again to 1% or 1.25%, more self is coming, right? Definitely. I just don't know how some of the companies, which, most of the companies are not profitable, especially on the tech side, a lot of startups as well. Just don't see how they can sustain this level of debt payment, which has, kind of ballooned by 4 times since the beginning of this year, going forward. And also, as a causation effect as well, that the job numbers is the Fed's mandate, is the key mandates, right, onto triangulating the interest rate going forward. So if there was, a shrinkage on the corporate, human capital front, that means, the efficacy with respect to a 75 basis point will be counterproductive, and it will just be a sinking hole from here, right? So despite what Joe Biden said, which I appreciate his optimistic sentiment, right, and I appreciate that he is trying to make people feel better, the technical still doesn't check out, right? We are still, consolidating between the level of 1,050 versus, below, right, at 1,200, right? And at the same time, we've been dragged up for the MACD front for quite some time, and also at the same time, the RSI is also getting blocked at the moment at the 49 out of 70 at the moment. So everything don't check out despite one positive news. So this is the power of social media, I guess, right? In respect to Bitcoin, I would say something comparable. You could see that how dragged up we are, and we're also about to get blocked. We haven't got there yet completely. We will get there soon at 47 out of 70. So I think maybe reaching a little bit higher. But I get it, right? You know, all the altcoins or the smaller coins typically are a little bit more volatile. So they swing up and down a lot more dramatic compared to Bitcoin. So something to look out for. But with respect to the weekly and the monthly on the overall market side of the house, it's showing signs of optimism going forwards, right? As we get over that hump, right, with respect to FOMC meeting, which I foresee there might be some negative anticipatory pressure ahead of it happening, and then seeing some revival afterwards makes a lot of sense from here, okay? So across all the other altcoins, I would say is quite comparable in terms of the, you know, dynamics overall. But let me know if you have any questions on the specific ones. And I appreciate you for joining me on Thursday afternoon again. And have a good day. And I will look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning. Take care.